Well, buckle up, Buttercup. It's time to rise and shine, travelers. That's right, straight from the highly caffeinated studio. This is According to Willie B, and I am your host for the next half hour. Today is the part three of the three-part series I did because we did Pennsylvania, then Philadelphia, and then we scooted right on over to Atlantic City because last year I got robbed of, well, yeah, if you go into Atlantic City, you're gonna get robbed in the casino. But no, this was different. I got robbed because I didn't get to experience the boardwalk because it poured down rain. I'm talking it came down like in buckets. And so I was unable to experience the boardwalk, which you know that I love almost as much as bacon. But, so I thought, well, since we were in Philadelphia and we really had extra time, we thought we would just kind of scoot on down to Atlantic City and check it out. But this time we drove from Pennsylvania down to Atlantic City. And on the way, I had done a little Google search and I found an Italian market. And looking at the photos on Google, I thought, man, this is really cool. And so we scooted by there and found it. I mean, it was, in the middle of this little town, Hamilton, New Jersey. I want to make sure I was pronouncing that correctly. And it was this cool little Italian market. It was almost like your small town Piggly Wiggly met an Italian old school or old world market. And so it was really cool. They had this olive bar where they had all the different olives out. And I know when I was in France a few years ago, there was an open air market and they had the same thing. They had under this tent, there was just this massive display of fresh olives and it was really cool. And so I was like, man, it reminds me of that fresh open air market and every kind of Italian meat that you could think of, from your prosciuttos, and not just one. I mean, they had multiple prosciuttos to choose from, uh, capricola, uh, every kind of cheese that you could imagine. It was like a foodie paradise. Unfortunately, because we were traveling, I wasn't able to really take any of that kind of stuff because, I was saving my cooler space for my leftovers from what was coming up, which was Tony Baloney's, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it was really cool. It's called Bagliani's Market, and it's in Hamilton, New Jersey. So if you're ever driving through there, it's a super cool place to check out. The people that work there were super friendly. I actually did a quick culinary highway shoot in there, so that episode will be coming up soon. Um, so it was really, I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. So then we got back on the road and we uh, got on down to New Jersey. Now they were predicting rain, so I was doing my anti-rain dance to try to keep it away until I could at least experience the boardwalk at least one time. But it actually never rained that day, so the weatherman was wrong. So one for me, score one for me, and zero for the weatherman. But the boardwalk in Atlantic City is massive. You can walk yourself to death. But we did go out on the steel pier, which is the part that kind of jetties out, that has all the rides, the amusements, all the little, um, there's like bars, there's any kind of like cotton candy, any kind of junk food that you shouldn't eat that was on there. And that was what was cool because, that's part of what attracts me is stuff that you shouldn't eat. I was there to stand in line and eat it. Well, I have to try it, have to get I want to immerse myself in the full experience. Okay. And it's like getting a sandwich without bacon on it. You have to have the full experience. But the boardwalk I was glad that I finally got to experience. We did do one of the little foot, what do they call it? Petty cart, where it basically almost like puts you in this little, I guess it's almost like It felt like you were riding in a wheelbarrow. I'll put it that way. And then the guy runs behind you. It wasn't even a bicycle one. It was one that they do by hand. And so he's, running us down the boardwalk in that little pedicab. And that was a cool experience. It's kind of expensive. I think you could actually take a cab in New York cheaper. I think we went 2 blocks, and I think it cost us about $30. So, I guess foot power, it's true what they say. Foot power is more expensive than horsepower. Some people that race cars, though, they say, no, horsepower is more expensive. So I don't know. $30 for 2 blocks. But, hey, I didn't mind paying it because I didn't want to be the one in that 100-degree heat having to push 2 people down the boardwalk in basically a wheelbarrow. I know that wasn't fun for him, but it was for us. But we did enjoy it. It was a beautiful day. There was a lot of people on the beach, and it's a really nice beach. It's really wide. Did walk on the beach a little bit just to kind of experience that since it was such a beautiful day. But it was cool. But the bad thing about Atlantic City, I mean, we spent the day because we only had one day there, but it was cool because we spent the majority of the day outside this time because the weather was beautiful. We had the boardwalk to walk down experience. You can get yard-long daiquiris as tall as I am if you want them. I mean, there are hot dog vendors. I mean, you name it. Every kind of what I would call like carnival food, is out there on the boardwalk, and it's really cool. Of course, they have all the little, as you walk down the steel pier out toward the end, they had helicopter rides. So I did a little film of helicopter taking off and coming back in for a landing that was probably a little closer than I probably should have been, but it made for a good video. But yeah, that was really cool. And the steel pier, it amazes me, the technology, because if you think about it, if ever experienced any kind of power of water, like floodwaters or anything like that, I mean, you see the immense power of water. So if you think about this steel pier, and it has thousands of people on it, it's got all these rides, like a Ferris wheel and everything on there, and yet it stands up to all that water force throughout the years. It's actually pretty amazing if you just stop sometimes and really think about how something is designed and how it works. It's kind of amazing. I'm sure there's some science behind it that makes it as sturdy as it is. I of course am not an engineer, so I don't know what that is. I just stand and marvel at the success of it. So there's that. It doesn't take a whole lot to impress me. I mean, I remember one time, my dad told a guy that we were hunting with, he said, the guy's name was Lowell. And he said, Lowell, it doesn't take much to amaze you, does it? And he said, how's that? And he said, well, you see that black cow over there, and he's eating green grass, and he gives yellow butter and white milk. And, so I guess that's kind of me in an analogy sense that, I see a black cow eating green grass, giving white milk and yellow butter. I mean, that's impressive. There was in the engineering design of a beginning that set that all up. It's above my understanding, but hey, I like to stand and marvel at it. So, I'll stand and watch bacon being fried. Who am I to talk? But Atlantic City was really cool. Of course, it is lined up with the major thing to do there is the casinos, but at least this time it was really beautiful weather. Just absolute. I mean, it was hot. Don't get me wrong, but it was absolutely a fun trip, even though we were just there that one day. But I did have an ulterior motive while I was there, because I had looked up on Google to see for searching for food to do Culinary Highway episodes. And I ran across a place called Tony Baloney's. Now, it's not what you think. It's not a delicatessen. It is a pizza place. And if you've ever heard of it, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about. This place had the most craziest, intense, epic food you will ever put in your mouth. One of the things that, and we experienced quite a bit of it. We spent about $140 on food there because we were trying to do a full episode, and there were several things that they do that I wanted to film. One of them is called the T-Rex. And what this is a short rib sandwich. Now, they take the entire short rib. This thing's like about a foot long. And it has the bone in there, which is good, probably 2 inches in diameter. And they put that whole short rib bone in on this sandwich. And the whole, I guess, love for the sandwich is that you pull the bone out and then you eat the sandwich. And it does. They cooked it so tender, the bone just slides right out. And it was so flavorful, and that sandwich was just so intense. I don't know how they seasoned that short rib, but it really, even with all the sauce and because you get a lot of tomato sauce and cheese and all these other things going on there, you would think that they buried the flavor of that short rib, but not at all. The flavor of that short rib came through it was just standing at attention at the front of that sandwich, and it just hit you. I thoroughly enjoyed that sandwich, but I could only take a few bites because I knew that I had so many other things that I had to try there. So there was no way I was going to eat one item and then, be able to experience the other items. One of the other items that intrigued me, of course, they did have a bacon pizza. Yes, I did get a slice of it, and it was massively covered in bacon. I think they probably put more bacon on there than I would have put, which is impressive, I'm going to say. But they had their pepperoni pizza, which is my absolute favorite. These people put like 2 pounds, yes, 2 pounds of pepperoni on this pizza. But they take it a step further than that. They take that pepperoni and they cook it in these deep dish pans. They put the pepperoni on the pizza, literally by using spatulas and just scooping it up and just piling it on. Then they take the grease, yes, the grease from the pepperoni, they put it in a bottle with ranch dressing, shake it up. Now that is your sauce that goes on top of the pepperoni. And I know some of you are going, oh my God, there's no way I could eat that. You got to at least try a bite of it. I mean, you can't let something like that be created on a menu and not at least take a bite. And was I subconscious about the grease? A little bit, especially, it's not like I'm 21, so it does have its consequences. But it was really good. The pepperoni was good. The sauce that they had on there, I mean, and that whole ranch pepperoni grease sauce, I call it heart attack sauce, but it basically is. But it was really good. I was really shocked. Then they also make their own mozzarella sticks in-house, the fried mozzarella sticks. But they have, if I remember correctly, I believe there's about 8 or 10 different breadings that they put on their mozzarella sticks, and it's from Italian, and there's a hot Cheeto, but there was one in particular that they call Lucifer. Now, this cheese stick the outside coating is black. The cheese is a dark gray. It is 2.9 million Scoville units. If you don't know what Scoville units are, look it up on Google, and it'll tell you that's how they measure the heat of peppers. 2.9. And, I love hot stuff, but now, I'm not dumb. Well, not completely. But I have my moments. We all do. But let me tell you, there was one, I ordered the sampler, and it had one of those Lucifer cheese sticks in there, and I'm like, I have to try it, especially on camera. And I wound up and ate the whole thing. I did regret it, but you know, anything for fans, right? So it made for a good video, which that video will come out later this week. But I got to say, it lived up to its name. It was hot, man. I mean, it brought heat from a whole new different angle that I had never experienced, and it take your breath away a little bit. But I got through it, and it was good. Now the other cheesesteaks, because of the fresh mozzarella, really good. I mean, I don't know that I've ever had a truly homemade cheesesteak that was with the house, like a house made, because they make their mozzarella in house. So I don't know that I've ever had a cheesesteak that was made with in house made mozzarella. And I got to say, man, that alone was enough to just go and visit Tony Baloney's for. My hat is off to them for not only their creativity, but the way they managed their business was interesting to me because, I mean, the place is packed. I mean, it's insane the amount of business that they do. They have two locations. They're both in Jersey. One just happened to be in Atlantic City, thankfully. But it was absolutely insane to watch them work and take care of all these orders that came in. I mean, the line just would go out the door, and you would see the line just constantly move. I mean, they did a phenomenal job of keeping that line moving. And but man, they'll take any request. I mean, they're in for the crazy when it comes to food. They had some of the most ridiculous things on the menu I'd ever seen. But the T-Rex sandwich and the pepperoni pizza and the bacon pizza and the mozzarella sticks, doing my word salad, mozzarella sticks. Man, I'm going to tell you, that was incredibly insane and probably some of the best I've had in a while. Would I eat the pepperoni pizza again? Probably not this year. I think that my internal organs will at least make me wait a year before having another slice of that pizza because it is truly a heart attack on a plate, unfortunately. And that isn't that it doesn't seem to be that way on things that just are just intense with flavor and so good to eat. And it's like, oh, but that's bad for you. Well, that's why it tastes good. I mean, do you think I would sit here if I went to a place and they served me a plate of kale and I would sit here and tell you how intense the flavor was? I don't see that happening unless the kale is wrapped in bacon. I mean, I get that I need to start watching my weight a little more. I need to start watching what I'm eating. I'm not 21 anymore, but hey, come on. We get excited over good food. We don't get excited over a salad. I don't. I don't get excited over, hey, you want a piece of kale? Hey, that's kind of the same thing as turkey bacon. I mean, it's just, there's some things in the food world that just shouldn't have been invented. I will say that I did find a use for kale one time. I was cooking some bacon, and the bacon was like really hot. So I used a piece of kale as kind of like a pot holder to wrap around the bacon so I wouldn't burn my fingers. So that was useful for that. Now, I know there's some of you that probably out there that eat kale and make smoothies out of it. For the love of Pete, man, I cannot even fathom who would have ever invented making a smoothie out of kale. I mean, bless your heart. That's all I got to say. It's just bless your heart. And I know, I was like, well, I'm on a health kick, and this is, well, okay, well, you know what? You enjoy that over there because that's just wrong. There's just some things that shouldn't be made into a smoothie. You want to, well, I'm into juicing. Okay, well, then go juice a ham. Go juice some pepperoni. But, it was a great trip. It was a short trip in Atlantic City, but I did finally get to experience the boardwalk, and I really enjoyed that. I would definitely go back. But like I said, you got to go during in the time of year. It would be nice to go later in the year, like in the fall, where it's a little bit cooler so you don't melt. And I mean, you can't eat like I do and then go out in the heat. I mean, you're just asking for me to, I always say sometimes you get this heat like this, especially like we've been having in North Carolina, and it's like hanging me in a barn, hanging a popsicle in a barn. It's not going to be good. There's going to be nothing left, but a greasy mess. Probably pepperoni and bacon grease, but neither way, I'm gonna melt down to a mess. But definitely go check out if you ever are traveling out that way. It is a really nice drive from Pennsylvania down to Atlantic City. I really enjoyed that drive. When you start heading down, when you get to Atlantic City, I got to see another side of Atlantic City that I'd never seen. Because when you fly in and you get taken by a bus over to a resort, that's all you see. But I did get to see why they call it, the Jersey Shores. They had all the cool little beach houses lined up down those, and it was really cool. It was a great experience to drive around and look at the other side of Atlantic City, because most people only see the boardwalk with the casinos, but I love driving around. I will say that's probably was a huge one of my favorite parts. I don't know if I put a number to it. I don't know what it would be, but like for driving all the way from North Carolina to Pennsylvania, and then from Pennsylvania down to Philadelphia, and then from Philadelphia on down to Atlantic City. Now, of course, the drive home from Atlantic City back home, it's part of it is good, but once you start getting on the interstates, it's kind of like the same thing. When you fly into a city, you don't get to see the good stuff. You just fly over it. So taking the back roads of this country and checking things out is, I'm telling you, it's an experience that you need to do. We've actually driven quite a bit in the last few months. I can't even tell you the last time I've been on a plane because we've driven so much. But I've enjoyed it because I've got to see and experience things that otherwise we would have just flown right over. So definitely go check out Tony Baloney's. If nothing else, go look at it online. It's some of the craziest stuff you'll ever see. And like I said, the episode for Culinary Highway that covers Tony Baloney's, that episode should be out no later than this weekend. And you do not want to miss the food that I experienced there. It was absolutely insane. But it was incredible. It wasn't just, this pile of junk. I mean, it was really good. I mean, they have used really good quality ingredients, and it was really good. But yeah, it was a great trip. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed coming right here behind this big old mic and telling you guys all about it, so that y'all can go experience the boardwalk, and that y'all can go look at Bagliani's, and you can go see Tony Baloney's and have you one of those cheese sticks that'll set the world on fire. Yeah, it was great stuff. Would I eat it again? I know that's going to be the question I get. Would you eat one again? That would be a no. I did it once, kind of like skydiving. I did that once, not doing it again. See, that shows that I do have some intelligence, because I don't repeat all of my mistakes. So there's that. But until I see you again right here behind this big old mic next week, y'all have a great day, and do not forget to caffeinate and conquer, because that is extremely important. I don't know how you get through life without it. But I digress. I have to throw that one I digress in there. I only did one today. I'm proud of myself. I'm trying to watch my word salad and be a little better, since our listenership is grown so immense. It's I'm truly humbled. But I'll see you right here again next week. Y'all have a great day. And as always, don't forget, local eats are the best eats. Bye-bye.